Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always served. And unfortunately, tonight, some spirit got served too much because we didn't have microphones and other things. And hang on a second, because Ken is not happy. Chris and I are on tonight, and we just thought that we would entertain conversations and talk about Paranormal 101. Ghost hunting, what we do, what not to do, that kind of thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see the comments with my phone like this. So hopefully we will be able to see comments and hear them. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in and maybe they'll pop up on my phone. Wait a minute. I've got something popping up here. There we go. We have messages. Hey, Damien. Hey, Carol. So starting off, what part do you want to talk about?
We were talking about couples and families doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, it works really good. I think it helps you out with what you do.
A ton.
And there are other groups that I know of that have full families that are into it and do this sort of thing. Kind of helps a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. We see a lot of husband and wife couples. We see some parent and adult children, as well as teenagers, hunt together, and I think that's a good combination. The only time I would say not to hunt together is if you can't get along, because you can't have any tension, I would say, within the group, because that's going to feed off of anything in the house, as well as make things. I just ate a cat hair. Sorry. Can't hear. No. As well as make things worse for yourself while you're doing that, and open the risk for more attachments. It's somebody that knows you, that's got your back, that can watch you, that knows you well enough to know if something does happen to you, whether it's physically or mentally or spiritually, I think is really important.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have I noticed something about you that nobody would even think of?
Right.
Something about your look, your personality is different. What has happened?
Eye color change, behaviors, emotions. I think all those things warrant being watched. And I think when families hunt together, you know your family well enough, hopefully, to know when something's up.
It's happened to us several times.
Yeah, several times. Not as many as Zach Bagans, but
not far from it.
Not far from it. Several locations with the doll.
Mm-hmm.
And even with other team members, we hunt with Russell from Beyond Life, and they know us as friends, close friends, but they still don't live with us and have not been with us long enough to notice the changes that actually take place all the time with personalities.
Yeah, picking up on some cues, stuff that you really know about this person, kind of helps.
Absolutely. And we get asked questions about kids hunting. I have no problem with kids hunting as long as kids are mature enough to handle the stress of hunting and understand boundaries. There are some kids mentally that are not able to, mental age, I guess I should say, are not mature enough to go hunting. I think maturity, common sense, good head on their shoulders are able to hunt and do paranormal research. But I think if you have a kid or a teenager that's like, I hate to label ADHD or something, but real helter skelter squirrel like, that's not going to work well because they're not going to be paying attention to the things they're doing and reacting, and you're going to miss something. While hunting together, do you get certain spirits to come through or avoid you? I I can't say that we do, because we both are doing different things. We both have different jobs working together. So I can't say that. I mean, if something's going to avoid us, they're going to avoid us because of what we do. I don't feel it's because we're together. I mean,
It's possible that something could avoid one or the other of us, but then the other one can pick up from that.
right. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm more apt to walk in and pick up anything. Chris keeps it from. I feel like he keeps me safe from getting attached to it or it attached to me. I mean, I probably willingly pick up as much as things pick up me. So, I mean, he just
Greg.
kind of
Hi,
watches
Greg.
me. Hi, Greg. So it's kind of one of those things where I don't really feel like it's going to keep things from getting you. I think it's more like, or it's going to keep things away from you. I mean, everybody in the party that works together brings a certain aspect to it, and both I think are necessary.
Yeah, I can't offhand think of anything that has deliberately tried to avoid one of us or both of us while we're doing it.
No. Well, and I mean, I think it helps if we start out respectful. I mean, we don't come in with a shit show attitude trying to kick off everything. We're respectful in the spirit's place, whether it's cemetery or houses or wherever we're hunting. Always respectful until it disrespects, and then I will match whatever energy has come to me. But I think when you're open, it's going to be reflective of that. I mean, there are times we have gone places and we've had nothing, but I would not say that that was it trying to avoid us. I would just, because of we're together, I think it just didn't want to deal with us, or there was nothing there.
Usually it's one or the other, or both of us. We're both together in on it, and it doesn't have a problem. We haven't had any problems per se that way. But there are times where maybe there's more contact with you or with me, depending on what we're doing and where we're at. That does happen from sometimes. It's more linked, more drawn to one person than the other person, maybe.
But I don't hunt by myself. I don't do paranormal things. Well, I can't say I don't do paranormal things. I don't go into areas unless I have to by myself. I do have clients that I work with independently, and I do things with them by myself. But if I were ever to get in too deep, I would walk from that area and wait until Chris was available to come on board with me and then go back. Again, you have to have boundaries. I've heard females seem to attract more males than females do. You think there's more male than female entities? Nope. Nope. I don't, Damien. I think depending on your setting that you go into and the type of trauma that's in that setting will feed off of whomever it needs to feed off of or interact with. I tend to draw out things that are trauma related, either domestic or anger or trauma. And that's my, I guess, strong point or weak point, depending on what you look at it as. That's just what I walk into and can draw out easily. But I think I also have worked male penitentiaries and institutions with more males than females. So I'm probably going to draw out more males because of that. Yeah, prisons. Definitely being a female, I can bring out the male antisocials real easy.
Yeah, it can be positive or negative,
Right.
depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything offhand that was like that.
Well, investigating the prison.
Yeah, I mean, usually, you know, when we're doing that, each of us will step up and do their thing, and then as you're doing the thing, you find out who it reacts to more than others, and then those people kind of come up, and you allow them to step up, so you can monitor what's going on at that point, because they're more apt to talk to somebody, male or female, depending on that. So,
right. Well, we were at MSP. There was a female that came through that was talking to a female team or female team members. And so I think it just kind of depends on if they relate to you, or if you have a weakness and they can figure out your weakness, that as well. So I think it's more personal based than sex based
yeah.
in what you tend to work with anyway. Any other questions? Good questions. I think it's important when you do paranormal stuff not to go in alone because of attachments, and because I think you're more vulnerable. And, we always say it's not going to happen to us, but I think, medically too, because some of the institutions you go into, some of the places, the old buildings, they're dangerous. There's physical things that can go wrong. Energy gets depleted. And I think, too hungry, too tired, any medical conditions, I think it's valid to always have a partner with you. And you don't know when you're going to twist an ankle or run into something in the dark, or, hit your head on something that's fallen, or, there's so many things that can happen. So I think it's important to be careful of that too. Mansfield, Brushy Mountains, and mental institutions. Yeah, any of those places. Well, even just a cemetery. I mean, my God, I can walk out the front yard and step in a hole and and fall boom, and then I've twisted my ankle or something. And you go into these places and you don't know what you're getting into unless you know them well and have scouted them out.
Yeah, and I've seen some bad places. I mean, I've been in some places where I probably shouldn't have been in, just because of the flooring situation or whatever. Yeah, you go into those kind of places by yourself, you may not come out.
Yeah, so I mean, having a partner for things like that is very valid. It's important. Say hi, Mika. There you go. You're on camera. Woo! You about got the camera. So, yeah, partners, walkie-talkies, or methods of communication are always important. People don't think about that, but if you're on the top floor and your partner or your team's on the bottom floor, and you need something, that's always important to have some way that you can communicate. Don't go in without your phones being charged. That's a scary thing. We've done that a couple times, and you stop and think that not only are you not going to get the pictures, and you're not going to get the videos, or you're not going to be able to use your equipment, but what happens if something happens and both of your phones are stripped of power and you need to call 911? That's an issue too.
Well, no, you get done with some of those real intense investigations and you're drained. It can be confusing just walking down the hall where you came from. You don't remember, it's easy to be distracted like that.
Yeah, and that's a situation too. I mean, not only, and that's why I'm not pointing out the entities that can get you when you're by yourself, because that is a thing. And you are more prone to be jumped by something when you are alone. But then, some of us like to urban explore as well. And I'm not recommending people go out and do that. I would never recommend you go out and do that. But I think it's, if you are an urban explorer, you go into some of these places and we have certainly gone into abandoned houses with permission. And there's been animals.
Oh, yeah.
All kind, there's been raccoons, there's been birds, there's been squirrels, let alone, I don't know what else we didn't see. And so you're going in by yourself to something that could be, sorry. Whew, we did an investigation tonight too. You could have a raccoon in there that's going to stand you up and bite you, or put you in a corner, or a possum or something like that, and that's bad. And the number of homeless people that are copping a squat someplace, that's always dangerous.
Yeah.
Nick is in the back chewing on her bone now. So sorry about the chewing. That's our dog behind us. So living are more scary because you don't know whether they're armed, you don't know whether they're on drugs, you don't know what's going on. And even in cemeteries, people go out there to drink and drug and party, and so you're walking into something by yourself that is potentially dangerous. Yes, very much so. All things that maybe 30, 40 years ago you wouldn't have had to consider, but now you have to consider that.
Yeah.
Mika, stop. Animals are scary. So not going by yourself, having a partner that knows you, not exposing people who are terrified to that. Don't bring people in your group that bring a lot of drama, that bring a lot of chaotic energy, because that can definitely unstable a place very quickly. Destable, I guess the word is destable a place very quickly. And you talk about bringing things with you. We're all aware when we do paranormal stuff that we bring our spirit pool or our attachments from home with us to the gigs. So it's definitely a problem. So then you have somebody with you that's had a bad night, not feeling good. It puts everybody at risk. So just don't bring them along.
Yeah, I've been lucky with that so far. So
hi, Thorn. Do you want to say hi too? This is family night. This is Thorn. He has bad breath. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as smell-o-vision, so you don't get to smell how horrible his breath is. But it's bad. Weezer's underneath the table here, underneath the computer, so you can't see him. But he's definitely watching us.
Yeah.
We have the whole family tonight. It became a family unit when we couldn't get the sound up and running. Now I wish the sound wasn't up and running. So what else?
Well, we talked about you were wanting to talk about the couples thing and how that worked. What other dynamic would you think of would be?
Hey, Teresa.
Hey.
Good internet. Man, half this crap doesn't work if you don't have internet. So our sound is good now. Well, I'm on my cell phone.
Computer problems, I guess.
It's on the computers that they couldn't hear me. Have your pets been with you on a hunt? No. So we have a neurotic German Shepherd. Thorn doesn't react to anything. Thorn was a prison dog, a puppies for parole dog. He doesn't, he chills, he farts, and he barks at other dogs. And he is unreactive to pretty much everything. Weezer's too old. Weezer's one of our cats. He's 14 years old. He does not travel. He throws up in cars. Ken would be the one that I would really like to bring on, but he's a year old and he is still wild. He does react to energy. He works in my shop really well. He helps when I clean people, and he's a big asset. Yes, dog farts are the worst. Although Ken farts rank up there with dog farts really bad. I would like to. He doesn't do well on a harness yet, but I would like to take him on hunts. The problem is, I don't know what places are like where you live, Damien, but where we live, a lot of the places we go into have a lot of filth, for lack of better terms. We abandoned. I even hate to use the word abandoned. Houses that should be abandoned, that people have moved into, that are haunted, that they've brought their own shitstorm with it, but the house also has trauma. Carpeting is littered with feces, urine, needles, drugs, paraphernalia, human waste, animal waste, dead animals, rats. So to take an animal into that isn't also a good idea. After your long weekend, how light were you on your investigation tonight, equipment-wise? Well, we were really light on equipment in Arizona and Gettysburg. We didn't have room in the car for anything. No. Tonight was helping a family, and we did. We took our SB7, my new goggles, a music box, which did go off. Millimeter. I had my oh shit kit. Always keep an oh shit kit. If you don't have it, that's a good thing to talk about too. Yeah. Oh shit kits are important. We'll talk about that in a minute. You know, that's why I said good internet, because cell phones are like amazing, because you can upload most of your apps. You can get a good SLS and all of that. We also got SLS stuff at the house. Yeah, I usually just do like two kits. I've got a small kit and a bigger kit. The small kit's, most of the stuff that I would use anyway. The basic stuff that you would have: your camera, your millimeter, batteries, your laser grid setups, that kind of stuff. I'll keep that ready almost all the time. And the rest of the stuff, the bigger stuff, I keep it in the car or whatever in case something kicks off and we need to grab more equipment. I'll go back out and get those. Yeah. But I usually keep it pretty.
So real quick, don't want to interrupt you guys. I just want to make sure everything's good.
Yeah, it is, because I'm on my cell phone. And
you're on your cell phone.
I'm on my cell phone, and we went in through the back door. Like, I went in as a guest. Just clicked the link and went in the back door because we couldn't get it. And the other thing it was doing, Katie, was it was going mute and then unmute and then mute. And I thought Russell was muting me, but he said it was doing it on his end too. Like, it was just off and on. It was switching. And then we tried to reset, and it said that there was already 3 accounts and it wouldn't allow more than 3.
Okay. Already 3 accounts.
Yeah, it had 2 of his and 1 of Jeff City, but there was no options. Like, if I canceled, it booted me completely out. And if I went into it, it still booted me out. So there was nothing on the screen. Russell has pictures because I screenshot and sent it to him.
I did see whenever I came on that your account needed to be re-verified. I can't do that. So you'll have to do that. You guys will have to do that.
Okay.
Did you see that message up the top?
It never showed that to me. And he
like when you get into the like not the studio, but like where you're looking at all your scheduled podcasts. You want to look
Yes.
up top right? Okay.
So he sent me that, and I logged in with his login, so I was on his page, and it never showed up for me using his email. So I don't know.
We might need to add you on as because I don't think you're added on as having or maybe you are. I had to go back and look. I'll check all that so that we're good for next time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. I don't want to interrupt y'all's podcast too much. Y'all doing great. Good job. Good to see you again, Julie.
Hey.
Julie's better half.
Always good to see you, Katie. You're welcome on anytime.
Okay. Well, yeah, you ought to have me on as a guest one night. I'll come on.
I will.
Okay. Just let me know.
Okay.
All right. Love y'all.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye. So, Greg, yes, I do like my goggles. I love my goggles. I just got them, and this is the first time I've got to use them. The battery pack is a little heavy, and you have to clip it on good. With my hair, I can't. I'm going to have to do a high ponytail. I mean, these are just cosmetic things, but you got to do a high ponytail because a low ponytail fucks with the elastic on the goggles, and you can't keep them up. So little things like that, but I really do like the goggles. I feel like I don't like to have a stretchy tight thing across my eyes, and I'm used to glasses and I'm used to sunglasses, and so to me they just feel like having a pair of glasses on, and I do not use the flash. So the goggles go solid red, strobe red.
Then it's a blinking. It's got a blinking one that just blinks.
That's the strobe, right?
Well, the strobe just kind of like.
Oh, so it pulses and then it flashes. I just keep them on red. I wish they just made them like red.
It's kind of like closing your eyes and you have the sun coming through your eyelids. It's almost a red glow that comes through. Kind of interesting. Kind of has something to do with your psyche, I think, with the color.
Yeah, I think it must stimulate something in your pineal gland or something, third eye. Although today when I used them, or tonight when I used them, I was actually like, after a few minutes of them being red, everything went blue. Which I don't know, like in my head, what I was seeing was blue. And if I closed my eyes, I saw blue. And I thought that was interesting too. So, but I don't have anything to compare it to because I've never had a pair. But I do like them. I do like them. I think they're worth the money just because I can see going into a really hot place in the summertime, and they're going to be a lot lighter than having something blindfolded around your eyes and sweaty and itchy and things like that. And there's also a noise. There's a beep that comes from them. Like there was, like I could hear a sound, which was very distracting. But I kind of liked the distraction because it's just another thing that keeps you from being able to hear what other people are asking and talking about. So I mentioned the oh shit kit. I really can't say strongly enough that people need, like, you need an oh shit kit. Like, what would you do if things went really bad? And I mean, we talked about communication, like a walkie-talkie. A walkie-talkie is awesome for a no shit kit. Keep the batteries charged up. You need 2 of them. And that person, I mean, if you just need to carry it, or you can carry it on your waist, but binary.
Yeah. Yeah, about the goggles. Putting you in a binary state.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's exactly it.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you put in a no shit kit? I guess it would depend on what methods you use to clean a house, or what would you do. But our oh shit kit has Mika. Our oh shit kit has a full rite of exorcism. I have the condensed, I have the Latin, and I have the full book. I have a book of prayers that are just generic prayers to clean for any significant thing that comes up. Like if I get a sad spirit, or if I get somebody that's you know, and even in a house that's in crisis, you can look up prayers for that person, because you have to be able to do it all, unless that's not what you're going in there to do. If you're going in there just to collect research and get out, and you're not going in to help or clean, then maybe you don't need an OSHA kit. I have holy water, holy salt. I have sage. I don't like sage, but I have sage. I have Palo Santo. I have frankincense and myrrh resin sticks that I use to clean houses with. I have my own version of Florida water, holy water, Valkyrie, and Sunshine Daydream that I use to bless and cleanse. I have cedar oil, which is considered a holy oil as well, to cleanse. I carry tobacco in the form of cigars. I carry holy water. I've said that twice. I have a rosary. Actually, I have a rosary and a rosary bracelet that cannot be broken. So I found it necessary. I bought rugged rosaries. Give them a plug, because they're made for combat vets and Alzheimer's patients, and their paracord cannot be broken. So if something happens, and those are police blessed. Say that 3 times. Priest blessed. Might not hurt if they were police blessed too. If somebody, you know, if something goes wrong and something happens, you can put them on somebody and they can't break them. Are there printed prayers to help souls that ask to cross? Yes, there are, Greg. I have a great handbook. Unfortunately, the handbook is super teeny tiny, and my glasses are almost not enough. But I can send that to you. It's like a little book of just prayers, and it's for souls, it's for humans, it's for, gosh, people who have lost somebody, people who have suicided, people's families of those people who have suicided themselves. It's, you know, there's like a whole lot of things in that book, and it's really nice to have. I also keep cards with the Lord's Prayer, the Archangel Michael prayer, and the Hail Marys. I'm not Catholic, but I find they work really well, and I'm open to anything that works. And the times that I have been jumped or possessed, or whatever word you want to use, I have found it very, very hard to finish a Lord's Prayer. That's kind of my number one cue that something's off, is if I start the prayer and I can't remember the words. And so I have backup cards. So everything I need is printed, because in that oh shit moment, it's an oh shit
That's
moment.
where your spouse or significant other will pick up on some cues there that something's not quite right at that point.
Yeah.
You start having that problem, then you start looking at their eyes, see if their eyes are changing, their expressions, what's going on with them.
Saint Benedict prayer is good too. And yes. Thank you for mentioning that. We have a large blessed Saint Benedict medal, large, like they used in the Pope's exorcist. And then we also wear Benedict's medals that have been blessed, and Archangel Michael prayers. But I work with Archangel Michael in my regular business too. I'm trying to think of what else we have. It's an oh shit kit, but I have, and lighters, like more than one lighter, because I have gotten to people's houses and I've needed to light stuff and clean. And when I clean mirrors too. I will smoke either tobacco smoke or resin, incense, frankincense, or Palo Santo, or sage. Sorry. I will do the mirrors too, because a lot of issues come through mirrors. Mirrors are portals. Not everybody works with mirrors, but I do work with mirrors. So I will lock all mirrors. I don't even tell the people in the houses that I lock their mirrors. I just automatically lock their mirrors. And yes, rugged rosaries. Of all the rosaries I've had, Rugged rosaries are the best. I mean, I'll just straight up give them a plug. They are amazing. Um, I wish I could make things like that, but I can't. Don't have the time and have no hand-eye coordination, but they are super, super cool. You cannot break them. I mean, they are so paracorded up, and you can get them with Archangel Michael or crosses or anything that you want on them, and they're really reasonable too. I mean, considering they last a lifetime, you know, if you bought one a year, you'd have a whole. You could give them to everybody that you clean and still have a whole stack of them. They're just really
Yeah, you
awesome.
would lose it before you break it.
Yeah, you would lose it before you break it. And I've had Alzheimer's patients come into my shop when my shop was open in my house, and they would sit, and it's something they can fiddle with because there's paracord knots and there's big wooden beads on them, and so people can sit around that are anxious or that have, you know, PTSD or that have Alzheimer's or dementia while you're cleaning the house, and they can play with the cords, and you never have to worry about them hurting themselves or hurting the rosary itself. Link for the rosary. I will. I'll look it up, and I'll definitely plug it. It's rugged, but it is Rugged Rosary is the company, and I think they're on Etsy, and they also have a Google page.
Yeah, I think it's made with paracord.
It is. It's really nice. They're really, really nice. Heavy. They are heavy, and they make bracelets too. But the bracelets run kind of on the small side. So, but they're good for other things. Like you can put them over the top of things, which makes it nice. You can put them over haunted objects.
Keep them bound.
Keep them bound. Just thought of the song, "Gotta Keep Them Separated." But yeah, so oh shit kits are necessary. I mean, even if you don't cart it around with you, like into somebody's house, you can leave it in the trunk of your car, and somebody in your team can go get the oh shit kit if you need it. But definitely, oh, and batteries. I mean, I keep batteries in there too, because that's an oh shit moment when all your batteries die. Lots of batteries. Lots of batteries.
They had that problem in Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm. I should also give a shout out to, where's my camera? Coldest. I know we're not supposed to like plug people, but Coldest makes this awesome mug, and it's ghosties, and it glows in the dark. So I take it into people's houses because, you know, sometimes you don't want to like drink out of people's glasses. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Russell just posted the link for that. You should find the Coldest link too and plug their ghosty. But the nice thing is, it's got the flip cap so that if there's bugs in the house, they can't crawl into your mug.
Because you're bougie.
Because I'm bougie. Bougie.
Bougie.
Bougie. Russell knows I'm bougie. You use power bank that are USB charged. Yes, that's a good idea too. Yeah, Greg, thank you for your service during that time, and that was rough. That was rough. I have worked with a lot of NAM vets in my career. A lot. PTSD and war is very hard. It's very hard. I'm trying to think of something else. We're gonna run over because we started late. If you just joined us, that was KD that was trying to help us problem solve the situation. I don't know. I'm electronically not challenged. Very challenged. And not good. What else? What else?
Talks about the old shit kits, being couples and family when you're doing these investigations.
If there's
cleaning stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing too. Yeah,
I run into that a lot.
So, you know, so before I go out to people's houses, and this is just a Julie thing because of what I do. I'm a Reiki master, and I also work with people's energies, and I do a lot of shamanic type cleanings. And so I clean myself before investigations because I have a whole lot of spirits that I work with and talk to. So before we go out the day of going out to somebody's house, I always take a big salt bath. I use Epsom's magnesium salt and I use essential oils, and I usually put some holy salt in the bathtub too. So I do a full cleansing before that. A lot of people that do what I do will also cover their heads so that you restrict the amount of things coming through, which to me defeats the whole purpose of having things come through. Except for they believe that the higher stuff will come through and the lower stuff won't come through. And my thinking on that is if I'm going to somebody's house to investigate, I kind of want the lower stuff to come through. So I don't cover my head. Cleaning your equipment, knowing that anything that you take in can be attached, knowing that when you leave the house, I don't go through a mantra out loud anymore, but in my head, I close doorways, I close everything. Just like when I get out of my car, I have a thing that I say about, what's mine stays with me and doesn't leave to go into the house or the place that I'm investigating. Because God knows some of these sanatoriums and these people's houses and these, prisons, they don't need more spirits running around in there. And if you think of how many thousands of people go through some of these places, you don't want to leave your shit there and also take their shit with you. So I do binding things for myself and as I leave the door.
Yep. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
important.
it is important. And I always spray myself down as I'm leaving. I'm the last person that gets sprayed.
Yeah, I mean, we've drug stuff home when we first started doing this stuff.
Oh, yeah. We had a dead lady that stayed with us for a year and a half.
Esther.
Esther was hard to get rid of. She didn't cause any harm except for she smelled like wet, dank fish in muddy water. But Esther left. I've brought things home just playing with things, and that's not fun, and it's super hard to get rid of, and it's just not worth it. So, it's kind of like rocks and different things. When you go places, you probably shouldn't pick stuff up. Not without permission. Things are fun to play with. So if you're going to play with them in the setting that you're at and then leave them behind. Don't invite them home because you think it's fun. Because it's all fun and games till somebody gets hurt. Yep.
That's why we got the old shit kit.
That's why we have the oh shit kit. Because things do happen.
Mm-hmm.
And things do sometimes want to attach, and it's just better. And you don't know what's going to kick off in a family either. Exit prayers are forgotten easily. Oh, well, that's how we picked up Esther. We were on a bridge and Esther
made her presence known.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. She kind of whirlwinded, and I really thought I was going to get pushed off the bridge, which Esther did. Bless you. Goodness. Esther did jump off the bridge. And so I thought I was going to get pushed off the bridge, and I left like a little girl screaming. And then everybody else followed, and we didn't do exit prayers, and we didn't tell her to stay behind, and she followed us home. So we learned. Did you want to say hi again? Did you feel the need to say hi again? Stick your nose up there. Say hi. Okay. No? You want to say hi? Don't wipe your chin. Okay. Gotta come to the other side. But you slobbered. Yeah. So exit prayers, beginning prayers. If you're really scared of a place, put salt around your car. Say some prayers for your vehicle. So things like that are important.
Yeah, we've been lucky so far, really. I mean,
considering, yeah. Esther was an oops. I had 2 really bad weeks after that one cleansing. We had a demonic cleansing. One of the first. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say the first one because we had been doing it for years, but it was really one of the bad ones, and that knocked me for a couple weeks.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Well, I'm glad, Greg. Always glad to have you on the show. Always glad. Greg has a show on Friday nights at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. Does a great spirit show. Has a lot of experience. Good resource. Hi, Nikki. We're just talking tonight about investigations and the paranormal and kind of what to do, what not to do, just basic things. And we've talked about our shit kits, and we've talked about couples and families and kids and cleansing and
Taking the steps to do that before and after.
right. And I guess the other thing is being open and respectful when you go to other people's houses. Because sometimes, like we're home investigators, so we go to residential places, and let's keep it that way, right? Peaceful's good, Nikki. We like peace. But understand that, when you go to people's houses, they're not always clean. They're not always how you would live. And I think most of the time we're social workers than we are anything.
Yeah.
Hey, April. So,
Hey.
that, and I think you get into that. I think when you do homes, you become a social worker, whether you want to or not. So if you're not willing to work with the family, I would find it very hard myself, and I can only speak for myself, to go into a home and tell somebody, yeah, you've got 5 ghosts and an entity. You've got 5 humans and an entity that have all passed on or an elemental, and we're just gonna, okay, that's what we've got. So
Yeah, we're going to McDonald's. See you later.
yeah. I just, I can't do that. That's not my nature. So I have to clean up. Unless it's peaceful, and I've got the yawns. Sorry. If it's peaceful and it's Granny, then Granny doesn't necessarily need to be removed. Then then we let him stay. Obviously, again, it's the respect thing. It's all about respect. You don't go in and you don't make fun of people. That's a pet peeve of mine. You don't make fun of people that live differently than you do. But be prepared. I guess that's another thing too. Be prepared if you see things that shouldn't be. I think there's people out there that probably don't want to, how's the word, taint their names. But we have had to hotline people. We've had people hotline themselves. We have had to report things because we've gotten into oh shit moments that were not entity or spiritual related, and unfortunately that happens as part of it too. But in the end, it all worked out okay because the family stayed together and everybody cleaned up their act, and it was nice. So you're whether it's spirit or spiritual, you're helping somebody. What else?
Talks about the protection, the family thing.
Love you, Greg. Thank you. Oh, the other thing we don't do is we don't mess around with people that aren't willing to help themselves. And that's really hard for a lot of people, is knowing that, you know, if there's active drugs and alcohol involved and they don't want to tighten up on that and get healthier, then I'm not going to waste my time and effort. I mean, I can lead them to water, I can give them ideas, and I don't go into the home. I will refuse to go into the home if there's active stuff going on, because I'm not going to be any good to anybody dead and haunting them. So,
Yeah. You're right about that.
so. Gosh, any other questions? Oh, when you get rid of a mirror, that seal, do you have? So, Nikki, are you saying like when you throw away a mirror, or like if somebody has a mirror that we want to get rid of, do you bless a new mirror? I mean, I can seal, but I don't really see a reason to get rid of an old mirror if it's sealed, because when I'm done with it, nothing can come through the seal. But I guess if it's been a traumatic mirror and it gets removed, like a haunted type of mirror, but gosh, I'm sorry. Then coming into the house, I'm not burping like a T-Rex. Yeah. Hello, buddy. I would definitely, like, if something had walked through it and there was fear involved, then I would remove it. And yes, I would definitely bless a new mirror and I would seal it. Yes. Yes. So yeah. If you're redoing your house and you're removing that mirror, then yeah, a blessing over the mirror and sealing it. I mean, I'm weird. I don't seal my mirrors in my house, but I have never sat there and I've never sat there and worked a mirror in my house. I've had things come around and I've seen things in my house through my mirrors, like behind me, but I don't like to scry. That's one of the few things that I don't like to do, because I get sucked in super, super easy. So sealing mirrors I'm really good at sealing mirrors. So yeah, if you need us to come out, we can do that and seal your mirrors if you're worried about them. Absolutely. Brandy, just getting on tonight, something interesting that has come up in conversation. Women and minorities in paranormal investigations. How we are spoken to by spirits from different time periods. Yes. We don't scry. Yes. So I mean, when we went to Gettysburg, there was a ton of female investigators. I would say more so,
90%.
yeah, more so than males. And surprisingly enough, there were well, the TikTokers were all female. Excuse me. There were a lot of young TikTokers that were paranormal TikTokers. The Princess of Paranormal was one of them. I'm drawing a blank on the other girl's name. I want to say Katie. But we met a couple of those. What was weird though, Brandy, is all the demonologists were males. There was not one female demonologist. And I don't know if that's because all of them were attached to Catholicism and there's still that, I mean, I know there's women priests in the modern Catholic churches and there's things like that, but I think it's still a male dominated field.
Yeah, well, and what Brandy's talking about right here about how often that she should know her place and be quiet by a male spirit. That's kind of where we're talking about having a partner or somebody that can come in and take over that spot.
Right.
Or you just let it ride out the way it is and use that as a tool in itself. 'Cause
Right.
you can really amp things up quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, Brandy just came on. This is Bella's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, baby Bella, I just felt like I had to say that. The whole conversation started out with us talking about couples and like parents and kids and parents and adult kids and
Families.
families investigating, whether it be husbands and wives, and so that's, you know, where one person can take over and the other person doesn't, because it was a different time period. There was a different level of respect, and you're right, that goes across minorities and it goes across
Mhm. Yeah, you may not get any responses because you're a female or a male, you know.
and my place is to be seen and not heard. Absolutely. um you know, I'm trying to think of even the opposite of that, like even in the prison though, I don't think you've ever had any negative things, like nobody's come after you because you were a male.
Mm-mm.
I have had people attack me because I was female, not people, spirits. Um, the institution that I investigated that was an asylum was an active place. It was an active mental hospital. Um, and it was an official investigation. And that's all I can say about that place. But the spirits were very open and kind to me, but I also had worked there. I've got to be careful what I say. Um, they were cautious and careful. I think, yeah, I think having Chris, but Chris has, you've met Chris. Chris has a different energy too. Like he's definitely not a Zach Bagans type of person, and he's mostly calm and very grounded. So I think things are more apt to come up to us than a lot of people that are high strung, or, you know, American investigator and told, why are you sitting by that? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I can, you know, I can, that makes sense to me too, because with my voodoo um history and my hoodoo history, and also my African Afa, yes, there is a certain bias that is there with the spirits, and it's not always well received, even with that, even with the live people who are living in those places, that are still human, they're not deceased. There's a bias, there's a cultural bias there. So trying to get past that is difficult. I think it's easier. I hate to say it's easier for me, but my spirits are have made it. They really have. Like I'm blessed, and I realize that. And this is going to sound, I don't mean this like egotistical at all, but when you have dreads and you're a white chick, and then you add the ink work, and especially since I have got ink on my neck, I have had more African American people come up to me and be willing to engage me in conversation. I think I don't know if it's seen as being more culturally open, or what it is. And with my face tattoo now, I've had even more people from all different heritages come up and talk to me. So I think it creates a balance that may or may not be more confusing, but more accepted. And I think it's weird because you would think that I would have problems with some of the older spirits, but I don't have problems with the older spirits approaching me. I did get told tonight, however, that my hair was the word. It wasn't ugly. What was it? It was bad. I think they used the word bad, which was kind of funny. They didn't like my hair. They made it clear they didn't like my hair. I was so offended that,
Well, then again, you can use that as a tool for opening up some conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trigger object, if you will. That becomes a trigger object that you can use. Good or bad,
Mm-hmm. And that, that's a really good point too, Brandy, about the plantations and the African Americans there. Making sure that wherever you travel, like we travel with tobacco, we travel with water, we travel with some base. I travel with cedar oil. There's things that I specific to. Well, I travel with plant-based things too. Um, just to keep it legal, plant-based things. Stuff, so that I can give of the earth and give to plantations and things like that as offerings to the slaves and as offerings to the land and to the even the man, I'm tired. The those things. Those things that are always there. Elementals. That's important to me, to make offerings of peace to the land and to the elements and to the historical meanings for where things are. I would love to face. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, tobacco, clean tobacco. Yeah. Clean tobacco.
Pipe tobacco would be good.
Absolutely. And vibrations to the land. Water. Clean water. If you do coffee, some people pour coffee into the land. Make sure that it's not flavored coffee and that it's actual ground coffee beans, not processed in a plant, like grind up your own beans or coffee beans on the land. That's important too. Anything that you would not like. And water, my rule for water, and I was taught this a long time ago in some of my different spiritualities that I learned, was water, you never offer water that you would not be willing to drink yourself. So like if you drink, hydrogen water and that's the only kind of water you drink, then that's what you need to provide to your spirits, because any spirit that you're interacting with deserves at least equal to what you have, if not better. That's just respect. So like I don't go around in hotels and drink tap water. I won't drink the tap water in hotels. So if I'm not drinking the tap water in hotels, to go in a house and get tap water and pour it into the ground would be very disrespectful for me. That's just a Julie thing.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. I mean, you try to treat spirits with as much respect as possible. Even the negative spirits. I mean, you draw more flies with honey. So you just try to be respectful in all aspects. We love Julie. Thanks. Thank you. You wouldn't have loved Julie earlier tonight. we got on tonight though. It was a little late, but we're okay now. We've done our hour, and I feel like I made it up to people.
At least the pets have.
The pets have. You missed all the chewing and the chomping and everything in the background. They're not allowed in this room, and the door
It's
is
like
open.
A treat,
It's a big treat. We have animals all around
They're all
us.
in here somewhere.
But anything else? Any other questions? I could do a countdown and see who speaks. Love you too, Brandy. Good night.
Night.
Guys, it's been fun. We've been on an hour, I think. I'm going to sign off. Thank you, Chris, for being a part of it on our journey. We'll be uploading some things probably tomorrow or Tuesday. And
Lots to review.
lots to review. We put in some SD cards from old stuff and figured out how to get that uploaded onto my laptop, and it's been a process. Keep up with your stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. Keep up with it, because if you don't, man, it's a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt. Oh, update on the doll real quick. Doll is with us. Doll is bound. Doll is in said case, bound. We
Still
don't.
trying to reach out to us.
Still
I
trying
believe.
to reach out every time I go in the room. I will definitely get better at this. It's so distracting. I have been very, very good. I don't talk to her. I don't look at her. But man, she's got a loud voice. Like, she just makes her presence known. And yeah, but we're dealing with it. We're learning. We're learning. So I guess on that note, we'll sign off tonight, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat station. Or I will.
Yeah.
You may again. Everybody's at Paracons. There was the Rock Island Paracon tonight or this weekend, and there was another Paracon going on. So it's a real active time. So with that, we love you guys, and thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you all, and we will see you next week. Thank you.